All right. Hey, Barney. Oh, that's a good point. Now I think about it, I need to switch the chat to subscribers only. I gave up midway through writing your name. That's fair. Hi, Wef. What's happening today?
Wow! Incredible!
Alright, good point, Wilku. I need to turn those off as well. Where is the alert? Excuse me, alert box. There it is. Alright. This is gonna be nuts. I'm going to hopefully live up to that. So, today, you are taking on the roles of the 3rd Battalion once again. Only this time, you unfortunately... One second, fuck's sake. We'll see if I can do this. How's the audio other than my coughing? Kind of loud. Like the audio. I mean the, yeah. Music's a bit loud. Okay. 1 second. How's it now? Cough, cough. Hey, Swag. Redeems are off. So, 1 second. I will... Oh. This is what Valnheim looked like when we last saw it. We had taken a route up through, and we had been utterly destroyed at the gates. But this time, things are different. The Steel Masks have invaded. They utilized what advantages they could get, and essentially neutered the city of Valnheim. They're unsure if they'll last the winter. So they've called on us for help. The people of Valnheim are displayed in green. They will fight against us until all surrounding steel mask, that's red units, are eliminated. In which case, they'll probably, at the very least, they'll stop attacking. With any luck, they'll join us. We have 2 men on the inside. We have myself, a shark. We have Derek Faustine. Faustine brought with him a letter to the Valnheim defenders. It was intentionally intercepted by the Steel Masks. What was it? It was blueprints to create a negotiator. The enemy now has a negotiator. However, it's flawed. Ledger fucked with the plans. Now all of its organs have congealed in its lower back, and the thing itself is practically brain dead. For your information, anyone who is new, negotiators are the result of splicing multiple badly wounded soldiers together in order to create an abomination of flesh that still follows orders, is still completely sentient, although it can't communicate, and it wrecks shit. The Steel Masks were initially attacked by these things at Fort Larisar. I do need concept art, yes. Additionally, I was going to do some fuck around with bad intel and that. I'm not going to. Instead, you'll figure things out as you go. All right. We are going to deploy soldiers. What I need from you is I need decisions. That is correct, Meg. We used to have multiple, but one went batshit crazy, probably from the mistreatment of his own comrades and the fact that they feel their flesh constantly rotting away, but then being, you know, it's got self-sustaining healing magic, so it rots, but then it regenerates, but then it rots. It's not fun. Oops. So, where do we want to deploy? The steel masks have set up a couple cannons. They've got 2 in the front. Our objective currently is to take this center castle, but in general, it's to force surrender on the enemy. We will do this by breaking their morale and breaking their limbs. Winter is beginning to set in. The lakes are frozen over, although I wouldn't trust much walking over them. I guess Wilku. The steel masks carry, they wear... Do we have access to linseed oil? We have access to flammable substances, yes. Faustine and myself, Peddles, who I will be speaking about in the third person, have been able to make some headway. They have found that they've set themselves up beside one of the cannons. This cannon is going to fire into the back of the enemy negotiator. So we can consider the troops in front of this area to be a non-problem. The enemy seems to be placing VALNHEIM troops in front of their own. And as I was saying, the steel masks are fully prepared for heavy combat. However, they're wearing cavalry armor. This is because they come from a place with a much warmer climate. That is the warmest shit they have. The foot pads aren't insulated, and everything else is full steel. But again, it is the warmest thing they had. Don't be fooled. They're still more than capable of kicking your ass. So, men, where do we deploy? I guess I should probably put down the numbers. There's our letters. That's fully intentional, Wilku. The steel masks believed that we would take the same path. So, they have heavily reinforced that line. We'll see if it was the right decision. El and Ral are two of Megatron's characters. Megatronians. Have our troops at Juliet. Front of Echo's just covered. If they reinforce that, most of their powerful units are there. Megatron is El and Ralph. That is correct. You're allowed to have multiple characters. As long as you're aware that this is war, people do die. I'm gonna quickly double check my notes. Go to Echo, we'll lose everything. Okay. So, the Red North is pitching that we deploy at Juliet. Excuse me. This has some merit. Keep in mind, if we do deploy at Delta, these first units will likely scatter, and our two guys on the inside should be able to take the cannon and turn this center area into a kill box. Of course, that does mean that we have to deal with a bunch of angry people here, but we're going to have to regardless. We do not have intel on what this square is at Point Foxtrot. If we deploy at Point Alpha, we are facing down a cannon, but it's not in an elevated position like the others. At Hotel, it's actually in a guardhouse to the side. Alpha, it's just on the ground. Of course, that means as soon as we get through, we have a massive choke point and two cannons focusing down on us. I'll read that out once you're done, Meg. Do we have any other suggestions for where to deploy? Any ideas are good ideas. Let's put name, idea. Your name is idea? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, if you want, you can put a character. Otherwise, I'll probably just refer to you as Barney. You can put down your idea. I am going to change the song. I'm gonna put down... One second. Fuck! Okay. I'm gonna set up camp at India. Alright. Have camp go to Alpha, since it'll be... seems least guarded. So, from this initial, they want to take this, set up an FOB here. Additionally, have a smaller raiding force. I'll be John Smith, works for me. I will say, having a force go from India to Alpha, they're going to get intercepted. And that might be ugly. Any crocodigators? There are no crocodigators. Blackthorn's plan as well hits the field. Blackthorn says, depending on how many men we have, we could pincer from both angles that aren't down the middle. Killbox, keeping Delta from going into hell. Too cold for crocodigators. That's correct. Okay, it seems Blackthorn's plan agrees. Deploy at Juliet, deploy at Alpha. And if we have a tiny deployment at Delta, we can block in the kill box. I think... I hate to say it, I think that's a solid fucking plan. I don't trust bridges. Yeah, previously they blew this bridge on our first assault. However, we are aware that the enemy doesn't want to cause damage to their own infrastructure. Like, they will risk a lot more than they should. But that is a very fucking valid point, John. As well, Point Delta, once we create the kill box, we can pretty much just sit on the outside of the bridge. We don't even have to go in. Fire shatters their armor. Have we set up the fire artillery? That is correct, we have. Additionally, We have completed develop on the Voltman squads. We're eager to test out the chain lightning attacks. We've got good hopes. So that's what we do. Just set up a kill box and then do a two-pronged attack. Kill box team can break off if needed, or if it ends up being a feasible option, they can take Echo. Sounds good to you? Now, of course, that's phase 1 of it. We're going to have to do a phase 2. Once we've initially broken in. So once we have gotten inside, and we only have to deal with this area, what's our plan from there? Where do we want to set up our artillery for sieging down the castle? Say Gaylord? Or Golf, not Gaylord. What the fuck? Okay. Whoops. I don't know how to undo that, so that's fine. So John claims that set up an artillery line at Golf. That gives us good view of the cannon. I would say that's around the proper range for it. Do not spill oil on yourselves. If you do get lit on fire, run towards the river or the enemy. Last time I planned a siege on this place, it didn't go well. Last time you planned a siege, we had to do a tiebreaker vote because nobody could agree. We're different now. Initial artillery. It's long, but it might be able to go from here. Can we use the docks? Unfortunately, the harbor is frozen in now. So the docks are not currently an option. However, this means that the enemy can't call for help and can't get resupply. Meaning if we win today, we fucking win. Send a cavalry unit to trigger any traps or ambushes. What do you mean frozen? I mean that shit's all ice. They haven't broken up the ice. Our inside knowledge does confirm this. Can we walk to it? There'd be a way to enter the place through there. Ice is strong enough to prevent reliable boat access, but not consistent enough to march an army across. Unfortunately, unless we can either break through this wall or get along it, then it might not be an option. However, you know what? I say to march an army across, it's not a good idea, which is true, but let's say we order a little strike team. Just a couple. And we send them along the outside. I think you might be onto something, John. Small squad wouldn't fall through. It'd have to be lightly armored, though. That is true. Additionally, we'll have to ensure that they only move forward once we've done our initial breakthrough. If they cross this corner, right here, and these gentlemen on the docks haven't gone up to join the front, our guys are fucking dead. We have to provide that cover. And I think we can do it. Very risky. Very. But it can work. Plus, all we need is a good signal. Worst case scenario, everyone else dies here, and then we have people just sitting here waiting till the end of time. It could work. We've got the resources. We'll do it. Shouldn't be doing this while tired. All good, Mig. I had to double check my notes to make sure I wasn't getting names mixed up. All right. So is that the plan? I'll walk us through it one last time. We'll have 3 initial deployments: Alpha, Delta, and Juliet. At Point Alpha, we will deploy minimal artillery, just enough to cover our guys, and a sizable force. Our objective here will be to outrush, or at least tank the cannon, until we can reach it. At that point, we can whip it around, and at the very least, hold this point. We do not want to move in. This cannon will have a direct shot. We do not want to move in from here. However, if we hold this cannon, they don't want to destroy their fucking guardhouse. They're not gonna. We will have a small detachment at Point Delta. Their objective is to push and block off the kill box. At that point, our 2 men on the wall, and whatever turncoats we can muster, will turn this center area into no man's land until it becomes habitable once again. At that point, they will whip around their cannon, fire on this line. If this line does go and we're forced to abandon Point Echo, such is life. We got trees, they can go through Foxtrot up to Hotel and attack from behind if necessary. And then Point Juliet. We deploy We deploy the bulk of our forces at Point Juliet. From there, we capture Point India and put in our longest range artillery there to rain down some hell on Point Hotel, hopefully suppressing the cannon as best we can. We'll set up any additional artillery to the east of Point Kilo as we march along the road. We'll make a frontal assault here. From this point, two forces here will link up and go to Point Gulf. Additionally, our side team will connect. And hopefully, we can fucking win this one. The stuff we put together, this is all on our hands. No beelining it. Play it safe and we can be fine. Hopefully Fawcett can take out the negotiated Echo. We should be in the clear. Hopefully we won't get slapped around. Let's fucking win it. Nope, nope, fucking wrong music. All right. On the march. I like that plan. All right. What will be our troops? We will be light blue. Okay. This one's gonna be a bit more storytelling than it initially would be. All right. Is a cannon like a normal cannon? Yeah. You're the DM. Yep. All right. Is a protected ball you could shoot? No, these are just fucking cannons. You approach the battlefield. Everything's in position. At point Alpha, you see ahead of you this is going to be Blackthorn's detachment. Because it would be just like Blackthorn to charge directly into a cannon. You've deployed your negotiator, one piece of artillery, and a sizable force. Up ahead, you see VALNHEIM troops, and behind them the steel masks. One on the cannon, the rest cowering. Or maybe they're waiting. The shot rings out. Before you've even fully gotten into position. And as you advance slowly, you're firing again. Only the shots aren't hitting. The cannon is only hitting so far. And that is when you realize the steel masks don't seem to be adept with their artillery here. They fire over the heads of their VALNHEIM boys as you get closer and closer. You set up one set of artillery, your flame catapults. And with that, the first fire hits, and then I accidentally turn off the music, and everything goes to shit. Oh, we're on the foot. The VALNHEIM troops scatter to the sides, realizing the comrades have no regard for friendly fire. In response, you send your negotiator, and you send him forward. He takes a shot to the chest. It indents. It stays in his chest. And still he continues. Your catapult fires overhead, raining death onto the guardhouse. Your negotiator reaches the cannon. Under strict orders, he does not immediately destroy the cannon, but rather begins to rip apart the individual using it. You allow the VALNHEIM troops up here to surrender, and Blackthorn's diversion crew goes off without a hitch. All troops below Point Bravo in this area are now focused in on you. And with them all focusing in, the cannon cannot get a clear shot. Point Delta. Who wants to take control of this one? Red North is on Juliet. Along with Ral and L. All good. All good, Meg. I'll go Delta. All right. Lieutenant John takes the lead. Oops. It's a simple enough march. You clash with the initial VALNHEIM defenders here, but eliminate them very swiftly. And then you pause at the gate. And that's where you stare it down. An enemy negotiator. You can smell it from here. And you can hear it. Gives out a low moan. It gives out no quarter. Of course, that is where our very own Derek Faustine comes on the wall. And together with a weird shark-looking motherfucker carrying a crossbow that's a bit too big for him, they focus down and they begin to fire into the crowd. Or rather, they fire into the negotiator. The first hit immediately blasts its torso apart. The rest, well, it's gratuitous. Before they know it, excuse me, before they know it, 3 more shots erupt into the crowd. And as they turn around, that is when your unit moves in, John. It crosses the bridge. And as the crossbowmen and the 2 newly friendly units fire down, you find yourself winning. Hooray for you. But they can't all be like that, can they? I thought I was gonna die. It all went to plan, my friend. Nope. Nope. All right. The troops at Juliet deploy, and they are ready. Immediately, you send a cavalry detachment over to Point India. They step inside the fort. All goes quiet until they exit. With 3 VALNHEIM units in tow. Friendly now. You set up artillery at Point India and begin hammering the point at a hotel. Juliet's troops begin marching on. Additionally, you send a small detachment. That's correct, Wilku. It can turn around. And it will. Lieutenants L and Ral take on excuse me, the side route role. As your troops get forward, you hear a sound. A loud clunk. Mechanical. Something is being loaded into position. You set up your artillery and continue to hammer at Point Hotel. Your troops attempt to move up, but find the sheer volume of cannon fire is too much for them to keep up with, and they're forced to retreat. And that is when it begins. This is where the moment comes in. Even at point alpha, you hear it when it launches. It begins as a whistle. Then a bang. And then a screech. As the mortar at Point Foxtrot fires. In the blink of an eye, 3 detachments eliminated. While you have many to spare, the next clunk you hear tells you that this won't be the last. The team up here is nearly shaken off of the walls from the impact. Some of your artillery begins firing towards Point Foxtrot. The artillery at Point India fires and misses and begins shelling Point Echo. Blackthorn. At Point Alpha, you witness something. The doors of the fortress open and wheeled out is another mortar. This one looks slightly different. Granted, you can't see the one at Foxtrot, but take my word for it. As instead of a huge pot of sorts, it looks more like a ton of bottles in the center. And they angled the mortar. Shouldn't I be going to Echo? Yes, I will get to you. Blackthorn? Your troops wheel the cannon forward. They struggle to reload it under fire, but they're trying. John. Your unit has begun taking fire from your own artillery at Point India. Despite this, you see the mortar through the clearing. And you work your men through the forest. The troops outside have realized something's up with Echo because they've been fucking fired at. Oops. Wrong color. The VALNHEIM troops nearby turn to your side and eliminate the last several. Oops. Ralph. Your crew makes your way to the corner. And while your intent is to remain hidden, you are spotted from the dogs. One points what looks like a small crossbow, and he fires it towards you. Or rather, above you. You see a flare above you. Signaling the bottle mortar to fire at your position. You attempt to run back. But as you quickly find out, that's not exactly an option. The blast rocks you off your feet, sends several of your squad careening into the ocean. Elle, you managed to hang on. Through the debris, you notice Ral. You drag him back through the now open gates and lean him up against them. He stands up slowly, only for you to hear another whistle. Another crack. And to see more fire raining down. And this time, El, Ralph pulls you down and shields you with himself. As the dust clears, you find that your chest plate has been welded to his. You are immobilized. He is immobile. You hear another ka-chunk as the mortar begins or prepares itself to fire again. Red North orders the artillery to move in forward. And while the cannon begins to take easy pot shots, it is nothing compared to the explosion left behind from the mortar where they were. At this point, the cavalry unit that you've recruited makes its charge. And they manage to burst through. As John's unit finally takes the Foxtrot mortar and begins to use it. What do they use it on? They've got a few ideas. Blackthorn. Your relief at seeing the other the other mortar destroyed is cut slightly because you were really hoping to hit it yourself. That said, the shot you ring out that rips into VALNHEIM's gate and obliterates the, excuse me. The steel masks in front of it does bring a smile. At this point, the Juliet force moves in, and they take the guardhouse. The cannon turns and fires. and eliminates. John's crew figures out how to reload the mortar. They send one shell directly into the castle. The next shot will be adjusted. Their target was the cannon. Speaking of cannon, you are correct, Meg. You are correct. Oh, John, your team has very little training with explosives. It's a miracle you're able to get it to work in general. Oops. Oh. There we are. L, you manage to remove your chest plate. You take a look at Rel. You can't stomach another look at him. You call to the Juliet team for a healing mage. You see one take notice and start moving towards you. You don't know if they'll make it in time. The Juliet team finally deploys the Voltman. They were seeing it. Light usage back here, but only now do the Voltman squads show their true strength. And though the enemy is quick to mobilize against them, they're quick to be eliminated as well. Oh, you telling me you can't hear me now? Cool. Regardless. The Juliet squad looks up to see a cannon poised to rain death. And it does. But thanks to John's mortar team, it joins the party. Blackthorn's crew fires another shot and breaches the gates. You notice the head VALNHEIM defender, Mr. Poop, on the walls. Seeing that the gates are breached, and that most of the steel masks around him hurt, he walks up to the one steel mask commander and shanks the fuck out of him. And that is when you realize VALNHEIM is now on your side. As a melee breaks out in the courtyard. A few run to the docks, desperately trying anything to get away. And John reloads the mortar. And with that, with all that, it is finally over. With that, are Ral and Elle alive? Elle is all right. Elle is all right. Elle? You notice your Lieutenant Smith come up to you afterwards, helmet in his hand. He huffs. Shakes his head. Oh. John, it wasn't your mortar that fired. That was the bottle mortar. That we didn't even have the intel. You can't blame yourself. my idea to go through the ice. And it was a good plan. And as we learned from the first VALNHEIM excursion, we all agreed to the plan. I'm sure you'll think of something, John. Field Commander Ledger calls all of you to the center courtyard. You stand there, taking it in. Sour smell of gunpowder in the air. It wasn't your fault. It was theirs. And my own. Fuck this city. First my sister, now Ralph. Thinking this place is cursed. Ledger hands each of you a bottle. He's typically exact with his orders, but it seems he brought an extra bottle. Instructs you to hold it out in front of you, which you do. Uncork it and let it pour out. You see Ledger reach back into the box and grab the extra. And with that, he begins pouring small cups, handing them out. By the time he finishes, he's barely got any in his own. He raises the glass, drinks it down, what little there was in it. Tosses the cup aside. He looks around at all of you. Shakes his head. We've done it. Better or worse, we've done it. Auditor's seen the dead negotiator at the gates. I did a little bit of costuming. And Command has agreed that with the ever-evolving face of warfare, negotiators may not be the most direct step forward. They still want us to keep going with the program, but it's a step. Permission to find a shovel and dig another grave. Ledger waves down a VALNHEIM soldier, whispers something to him. The guy nods, hurries off. Permission granted. But you aren't digging it alone. Leonard, you have nothing to thank me for. Not today, at least. Well, it won't. Sure as fuck won't feel like it. This is technically a victory. And we will treat it as such. Fuck, that actually caught me off guard, Red North. Oh, my life. Can we get sad music? Is this not sad music? Unfortunately, John, Leonard is now promoted, and I think, yes, you will. Yeah. The rest of you, as much as I would like some time to process this, that is not a luxury we have. Command wants us out tomorrow morning. Capital. I'll explain everything, Rose. But not right here. Remember our defense of Eship? Well, it looks like we get to do another one of those. We're gonna need to be the heroes. And with that, no, shut up. End scene. Oh, that's not okay. So, that's good. That's a lot. Yeah. Okay. Full break of character. I'm never given an idea again. Fuck that. I'm pissed that I put Ral and them on that because like I wanted that that idea would have worked, and it would have worked fucking excellently unless I cock blocked it. But well, yeah, Wef, that caught me off guard. That, yeah. Rose, we just did a siege. One of Meg's characters, honestly my favorite character, has unfortunately died. I don't forget, as I'm finding out. Yeah, this one was a bit of a return to form. I don't know how well I did with this one. To be blunt, I'm still barely physically alive right now. So that took a lot. But I hope I did all right. This one was good? Good. Good. Fuck. Yeah, this one I made it a lot less interactive than usual. you know, normally it's like, excuse me. With these last few, it's been, oh, here's the situation. The enemy does this. What do you do? But with the initial, is this all based on IRL? No. This is all fictional. Downtime with Blackthorn and Mr. Poop meeting. Slow brain for it. No, it's fine. Talking about the designs and negotiators before, how they're like, here, I in the war room, I did write down a little guide on how they're made. Here. We'll read through it. So, to create a negotiator, you need 5 to 10 living subjects who are willing or incapable of resisting. You'll need approximately 20 feet of 24 gauge copper wire, 75% purity minimum. 2 mages, specialing and healing, class 2 minimum, combat surgery ticket recommended. They will need to instigate the process, disinfect and stabilize components, and place the final required enchantments. You will also need a leatherworking kit, smelling salts, a skinning knife, and a hacksaw. Didn't know there was a Discord. You want in? Fair warning, keep everything safe for work, other than, you know, the graphic murder thingy description that I'm putting in here. Choose the most emotionally sound of the subjects with all limbs intact and minimal brain damage. This will become the conscious mind. Ethical sourcing of the central subject includes terminal disease, organ failure, or blood loss. Bind the subject to prevent movement. Do not use blunt force to subdue. This has a high chance of causing serious brain damage or death. Do not magically or chemically sedate them. This causes permanent paralysis. They have to be fully capable and feeling the pain. Next, ensure that the other subjects are bound and sedated. Alternatively, have 2 additional laborers hold them in place. Remove hands of non-central subjects. Ensure that they're magically stabilized. Place in pool of ice with constant magic reinforcement. Repeat the above process with arms, feet, and legs. Ensure subjects have constant healing or they will expire and become unusable. Do not place subjects' torsos in ice. Honestly, Meg, that's pretty much exactly it. And excluding the war room and the third your characters, you don't do anything in character because that's cringy as fuck. Alright, in a moment, I'll go and click approve on yours. Then you'll be able to see all of the thingies. But yeah, basically, you completely mutilate and disassemble each person and put them together as needed. Reattach hands. Meld with other hands as needed. Ensure five-finger shape is generally kept to ensure central subject's familiarity. After 3 to 5 days, superficial flesh may develop mild necrosis and rot. This is normal. The enchantments will prevent critical problems. To mitigate smell and visuals, consider a custom knit. Initial field crews used emergency blankets stitched together. High Command is working on a generic pattern, but development is not complete. Ensure there are sealable holes for intake and outtake where needed. Only central subject will require maintenance. The rest are permanently dormant in those functions as organ migration takes place. It's a flesh... Excuse me. Godric the Grafted or Amalgam Alpha. Or Flesh Golem. I don't know what Amalgam Alpha is, but... yeah, essentially, think like that. And then any sort of skin is covered by a tight woolen knit. Evil Within. Oh, I haven't played Evil Within yet. Missed it. Fuck! This was a good one, Leo. Like, I'm not the sort to say watch the VOD, but you'll want to watch the VOD. This one's fucking good. Yeah. We did a lot of the murdering. Alright, add role. Approved users, you are approved. Stream's threatening to crash. What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't make me panic. Alright, Rose, I think that's a urine thing. Although I do notice my bit rate is fluctuating. But it's the end of the stream, pretty much. So it's okay. So yeah. Ladies, gentlemen, and otherwise, it's good having you around, Barney. Thank you for being a valuable member. Did you check Rel's profile? I did not yet. Private Jenkins. You know what? Oh, fuck, Meg. I was going to do the other thing to fuck with you. I forgot. Barney, if it's any consolation, the decision to kill Ral had been made beforehand. I've added new fish lore. Please don't be as edgy as last time, because otherwise that's... You know what? That's pretty good. Please tell me the cat survived. There were no cats harmed. I'm lagging. But yeah, I was initially going to completely... Excuse me. I was going to say that they fucking built a water wheel. Or not water wheel, but they put down a bunch of shit and buildings over M's grave, so there wouldn't be a trace of it anymore. And it was going to be this section right here, but I fucked up and forgot about that. So yeah. If I ever get around to creating lore, I'll base it around John Smith. Sounds good. When you do, put her in the third Your Characters section. There's no required format. You do what you want. And basically, if you don't know what they should use or whatever, or what their roles should be, just make shit up. All I ask is that all combatants are over the age of 18. Oh, and yeah. As long as they're not taking on armies alone, a member of royalty, or a dirty fucking mage, any backstory is good to go. And you can't... Sure, 85 is a good age. I don't think 85 is a good age. $65 I could work with. It's definitely pushing it. And I wouldn't be putting you on a front line of an assault, but... $57 is. That's valid. I know plenty of 57-year-olds who can kick my ass, so it works out. All right, fellas. Thank you for coming by and helping make this what it is. Unfortunately, I gotta go because I'm in a lot of physical pain. And also, we finished the mission. The retribution of VALNHEIM. On the bright side, now if I end up dying, I'll be able to die knowing that I didn't fuck everything up. You know? Like, yeah. Thanks for having us. And thank you for coming by. Oh, God. I'm hoping you'll be fine and recover quickly. I think that ship's fucking sailed. It's been a fucking month. That's okay. Stream. I do think you could run a D&D campaign critical role style. Man, I was D&D-ing before critical role was a fucking thing. Matt Mercer ain't got shit on me, except he's actually very good at what he does. Alright, I'm gonna go pet my dogs.